Hi guys, today we're doing Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is in E standard tuning. So that's our first finger on the third string of the second fret, middle finger is on the second string of the third fret, third finger is on the fourth string of the fourth fret, and our pinky is on the fifth string, fifth fret. We want to hybrid pick the fifth and second strings together. Then do the fourth, third and fourth strings. And then do the second string and back to the third string. Okay. Next we do this descending little riff, which is fourth and second fret on the fifth string. And then fifth and fourth fret on the sixth string. Okay. Then we go over to this E major shape bar chord. It's a F sharp bar chord. And we want to hybrid pick the sixth and second strings this time. Then we want to play the fifth, fourth and fifth strings. And then the third and fourth strings. Then we do this next descending lick. So that's the fourth and second frets on the fourth string, and the fifth and fourth frets on the fifth string. Okay. Then we go back to our original shape, or we're going to in a second. This time, however, there's two ways you can do this. You can either move your third finger up to the fifth string of the fourth fret and then hammer on with your pinky after doing your hybrid pick that we usually do. Okay. Or you can just have that original shape as is but slide your pinky over. Sliding your pinky over is probably going to be easier. I tend to do the hammer on just because I'm used to it. And then we take our original shape and do the fourth string and then back to the fifth. Okay. And then we do the third string and the fourth string, and we hammer on from the second string third fret to the fifth fret with our pinky, and then back to the third string. Okay. Then we want to do the slide on the fourth and fifth frets, fourth and fifth string each, and then slide up 2 frets to the sixth and seventh. Okay. Then we go back into our F sharp chord and just do the same as we did the last time, and then do a descending lick again. And then once again we go back into this shape, except this time we do the first hammer on or slide, depending on how you do it. But this time we don't do the hammer on, we just do the second string, third string like we did the first time around. Okay. And then we do the descending lick. And then that's just the same as it always is. And then this time around we do the both hammer-ons again, do a slide, and then so that's the same as usual, except this time to end it we just repeat playing the third, fourth and fifth strings again. Okay, and that'll take us into the next section. This next section starts off with an A major shape bar chord. So we want to bar the fourth, third and second strings with this part of our third finger here, and then bar the fifth and first strings of the seventh fret with our first finger. Okay. Then we want to do this E major shape bar chord, but the way Frusciante plays it is choking up on the neck, muting that sixth string and muting that first string as well. So we want to have our E major shape that we'd usually have here with our middle finger on the 3rd string of the 8th fret, and then we have the 5th and 4th strings of the 9th fret here, and our first finger jumps over to the 2nd string of the 7th fret. Okay. The next section, we play the 5th and 4th strings and slide them over to the 11th fret. Okay. And then we play the 3rd and 2nd strings of the 9th fret. Then we want to jump over to this E minor shape bar chord, which is 1st string muted, 6th string muted. First finger bars the 3rd and 2nd strings of the 4th fret, and our 3rd finger and pinky take the 5th and 4th strings of the 6th fret. We do 1 strum, and then we move those fingers up 1 fret each, and put the middle finger down on the 3rd string of the 6th fret. Okay. So all together. Then we want to repeat that, so A minor, A major shape, E major shape, and this time we don't want to do a slide, we just want to do that same shape we had down here, the E minor shape bar chord, but on the 9th and 11th fret, so that's barring the 3rd and 2nd strings. We've got the 5th and 4th strings here, and then the 6th and 1st strings are not ringing out. After that, then we jump up to the 5th and 7th frets with that E major shape bar chord we had. And then we repeat that. And then this time we include the 4th and 6th fret bar chord that we did. And then we repeat again. Okay, and this time we miss out that 4th and 6th bar chord and just go straight to the 5th and 7th again. And then to end it, we do this chord here. So we bar the 5th string down on the 7th fret. Middle finger goes on the 3rd string of the 8th fret. And a 3rd finger and pinky go on the 4th and 2nd strings of the 9th fret. And you want to just, if you've got a whammy bar, then just give it a wee whammy, but otherwise just put a wee bit of vibrato on there. And that'll lead us into the strumming section next. This section uses the same chords as the last section, we just strum it differently. So we're starting off with our A major shape on the 7th and 9th fret. We want to do that down, up, down, and then on the up we want to lift the fingers and start to change over to this, so that when we hit the next down we're already in this shape. And then we want to hit that down, up, down, up. And then do this wee lick, so if we lift our fingers up and then hammer on to the 9th fret and pull off back to the 8th fret, and then play the 4th string of the 9th fret and back to the 3rd string on the 8th. Okay, next we do that same slide that we did before, except we do it twice. And when we do it, we want to lift our fingers up so that they stop ringing out before we hit the next pair. So that's just the same slide from 9 to 11 on the 5th and 4th strings. Then the 3rd and 2nd strings on the 9th fret, back to the 5th and 4th strings, and then the 3rd and 2nd strings. Okay. Then we have this E minor bar chord shape that we were doing before on the 4th and 6th strings. Strum that once, move over to the E major shape on the 5th and 7th frets. Okay, and this time after strumming it once, we want to bar the 2 strings, the 1st and 2nd strings on the 5th fret, and then hammer onto the 7th fret and pull off. And then we hit the 2nd string on the 5th fret. Okay. All together. Then we repeat that, so our A major shape. Do that same lick there. That's the same. This time we don't go to the 4th and 6th frets, just like in the previous section. Instead we go to the 5th and 7th, and then we do the 1st, 2nd and 3rd strings of the chord after strumming it. So, and then we go back to the first way we did it. So that's all exactly the same as the first way. And then we do the riff again, so our A major shape in the 7th and 9th frets, E major shape, except this time we don't do that hammer on bit. Instead we just hit it 1, 2, 3, and then do the slide just once each, and end it on the 5th, 6th and 7th frets bar chord. Play the 1st and 2nd strings to finish, and then we take this same shape that we ended the last section with. Okay, so that last bit, bit messy there. Yeah, that's better. And then that'll lead us into the next section. Okay, the next section starts off with an A minor shape bar chord on the 9th, 10th and 11th frets. So that's just barring the 5th string down on the 9th fret, middle finger goes on the 2nd string, 10th fret, and 3rd and pinky fingers go on the 4th and 3rd strings of the 11th fret. And we want to hit that once. Then do the same A major shape on the 7th and 9th. Then we do down, up, down, okay. Then lift our fingers off, do down, up, but muted. And then another down to finish. Okay. Then we want to do down, up on the 11th and 12th frets with this D major shape. So that's 1st finger 3rd string 11th fret, middle finger 1st string 11th fret, and 3rd finger is on the 2nd string of the 12th fret. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we move back to that first shape. And then we want to do down, up, and then down, up, but muted, so our fingers are lifted off the fretboard. And then one more time, down. And then we want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, or muted. And then hit it once after with our fingers pressed down, okay? And then we just repeat the riff a few times all the way around. So nice and slow from the beginning. Okay, and that'll lead us on to our next section. So the second verse is slightly different to the first verse, okay? That bit's the same. That bit is also the same. So the third time it changes a bit. So this bit, instead of hammering on, doing that, instead we do 1, 2, 3, first, second and third strings. We do a strum, and then 1, 2, 3. That's the only difference so far. Then we play it again, except this time we do a usual A major shape. Except when we move on to the next chord, we do 1, 2, down, up, and then hammer on 7 to 9, and then hit 7 again. And then we do a usual slide, but we just do it one time, and then we go to the usual finisher for that. No change to that bit. And then we play it again, and this time it just sounds the same as verse 1. Okay, so exactly the same. And then the last time we play it is the same as we finish verse 1 as well. Okay, so it's just those two or three wee changes in the middle, okay? And that'll take us onto our next section. The outro section starts off with this E major shaped bar chord on the 5th, 6th and 7th frets. And we want to hit that 4 times. And then we want to change that to an E minor by lifting our middle finger off and barring the 3rd and 2nd strings on the 5th fret. And then we want to hit that 5 times. And then after the 5 times, we want to lift our fingers off, mute the strings and hit that twice. Okay. Then we want to take this E major shape again, but slide it up to the 3rd, 4th and 5th frets. Hit that 3 times. And then 1 strike of the muted strings. And then move it down 2 frets to the 1st, 2nd and 3rd frets. And then hit that 4 times, I think. And you want to do that 3 times in total. So after you've done that 3 times, then you want to go over to this kind of break section. So that's your first finger barring the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings on the 10th fret. And then you've got your 3rd finger down on the 12th fret 1st string. After that, then you want to slide over to the 9th fret with that same bar. And then put your middle finger down on the 10th fret 1st string. And then after that, you want to do this same A major shape we were doing here, but on the 10th and 12th frets. Okay. Okay. The next part of the outro is the same as the first part we did. Okay, up to this point. So it's all the same chords, except we finish it on the last chord. We do 1, maybe 2 strums, and then we do this bit to finish. So that's just lifting a finger off, picking the open 2nd string, hammering back onto the 1st fret, then picking the 1st string, which is open, going back to the 2nd string on the 1st fret, and picking it again open. Okay, and then we go back. Except this time we do the same part, except we hammer back down onto that second string when we're done. So the first part goes like this, and the second part. Okay, I think we do that 4 times. We do both parts 4 times repeated. You get the idea. So we do that a few times. So the final part of the outro is quite similar to the other parts, except we end it slightly differently. So instead of doing that in the second and first strings, we're going to do it in the third and second strings. So after strumming that chord, we want to lift our middle finger up, pick the open third string, hammer back down onto the second fret, play the second string on the first fret, go back to the second fret third string, and then hit the open third string. Okay. Then we want to play that again. Except this time, instead of going to this minor shape here, instead we're going to do, because that's an A minor, instead we're going to do an A minor here instead, because we need to do a pull off on the first string of the third fret. It's just going to be easier from this chord shape. Okay. So we want to strum it, I think 4 times, or maybe that's 5, and then pick the first string on the third fret, pull off, and hit the second string on the first fret. Okay, then we go back to our usual third chord shape. And then we do the fourth shape, as usual. I think that's 4 hits. And then we want to hit the second string in the chord, and then hammer on with our pinky and pull off. And then after that, hit the third string. Okay. After that, then we want to go back and do the same bit as before. Okay. Except this time we end it with just 3 strums, down, up, down. We don't do the hammer on that we just did. Okay. So the final time we do this, we do the usual first chord shape, then we go back to the original minor chord shape we had here, and then we hit that 4 or 5 times. But this time we're going to hammer on 5 to 7 on the third string and then pull off, and then put our third finger down on the 4th string of the 7th fret. Okay. Then this time when we play our third chord shape, want to play it without our first finger down, and then as we strum it, place it down on the second string, and then hit that third string, and then move along to our next chord shape, strum that once, same way, first finger's off, and then as we strum we put that first finger down on the second string. We don't hit the third string on this one, okay? Instead we just move to an A major shape and strum that, and that will take us to the very end of the song. Okay? Okay guys, so that'll take us to the very end of the song. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. Also, please check out my cover on the channel because it might help you with learning the song. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I hope to see you again.